Campers, it's me, Ari Lehman, the first Jason Voorhees. From Friday the 13th, I'm here with AJ, and he's got the juiciest slice ready for you. It's dripping with blood. Jason never dies.
What makes a horror film kill memorable, terrific, even in some way profound or poignant? Let's explore. Thanks for checking this out. If anything about it trips your fancy, please like, subscribe, and share.
Oh, yes.
Without further ado.
Hey, Louis.
Not today, Amanda. Okay, seriously.
I need this, Louis.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Investigative journalist Amanda made the mistake of leveraging her professional reputation chasing a legend. And this could very well be her day of vindication, or at least reckoning.
This has Victor Crowley written all over it. You out of your mind?
Sheriff Fowler seems to be considering just how certifiable he is, since he was previously wed to this adamant Spitfire.
Please let me on that scene. Let me cover this story.
Who wouldn't let sleeping dogs lie at risk of severe bites?
You know, for the last 10 years, I've been a punchline on the media blacklist for my Crowley study. This is an opportunity.
Fed up with her antics before she even arrived, and dealing with the fallout of a 2-day murder spree.
How are you holding up?
Well, if I look like I'm walking funny, it's because I got 24 reporters up my ass.
Louis isn't having it, and has choice words for her.
I thought it was more like obsessive sensationalism.
Amanda didn't get anywhere by being flexible to the whims and demands of others.
Now, you just listen here.
Her resolve springs from a heartfelt,
I'm wounded.
if at least a somewhat self-serving place.
I would like to have access. Please let me break this story. Please, Louis.
She's been gleaning the gory details from the police band.
I heard massacre. I heard unidentified bodies in pieces. Faces missing.
Nothing he's too happy about. A gripe she responds to in a way cops just love.
I have First Amendment rights, Louis.
Despite flying off the handle with that First Amendment crack, she might just have him.
Come on. Let me work on this story.
They were married after all, so she knows the right buttons to push to appeal to his good nature.
Give me a chance here.
But she maybe overplays her hand.
It's me.
Perhaps it wasn't the right move to remind him of all he lost in what was clearly an acrimonious divorce.
So how's Arwen?
She's good. No worms or fleas since she's been living with me.
The snark, gloating, and contempt she can't hide even for sake of her investigation says a lot about where they stand with each other. On a shaky precipice indeed.
Well, maybe a vulture picked him off.
Well, I never. There's a certain ethos to Amanda. If she found the shelf cleared of the brand of spaghetti sauce she wants, she seems like the type to wrangle an employee and wait until they retrieve the right one from the stockroom, not just check. But I conclude this falls short of straying into dreaded Karen territory. She's just a lady who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to voice her desires. With that being said, with one approach blocked, Amanda sets her sights on Deputy Winslow. Side, let me introduce you to Thorne.
So, where's the suspect?
That's none of your concern.
Having already stepped in it, poor Elliot is stuck in the muck.
Really? Because I'm about to post her bail.
A shifty swamp girl from a criminal family possibly responsible for a heap of bodies. Even if a judge were available to expedite the matter, Mary Beth would very likely be deemed too much of a flight risk to grant bail.
I tried to post her bail. But you have to go before a judge for that, and there's no bail set, so...
Mary Beth knows about her article and the subsequent infamy, and, in no mood for visitors, expresses her impatience.
1 minute you're on national TV. Next minute, you're kind of...
What the fuck do you want from me?
After a touch of polite small talk, Amanda gets to business.
I just wanted to, interview you about what happened, find out what you saw.
But finds an uninterested subject.
Listen, I can help you.
Who, after the sheriff's reaction to her tale,
That has to be the stupidest story and some of the most idiotic and contrived decision-making I've ever heard.
sees no benefit in talking to Amanda or anyone else.
You know, if I can prove that the ghost of Victor Crowley actually exists, that would help me a lot.
That's where their mutual benefit lies, since both would be saved by proof of Victor Crowley's existence. Determined Amanda figuratively, and obstinate Mary Beth quite literally, something the newswoman will be forced to point out, because the young lady isn't in a very accommodating headspace.
I might be the best chance and the best friend you've got.
No offense, but fuck you.
And maybe looking to lash out and hurt feelings, she shows she's a bit of a mean girl.
I want a fucking lawyer, not a blogger.
A little piqued, Amanda stands her ground and reacts in kind, pointing out her disgraceful father and brother's rap sheets, telling her bluntly,
Look, I know you didn't do this, but you're going to go down for it because you're po-white trash.
no mincing words, she tells her exactly what she's going to get if she doesn't get with the program.
The state of Louisiana will execute you.
Like a pistachio without a crack, Mary Beth is about impenetrable, so threat works on her about as good as taking a standard hammer to a vault door.
Do it.
When Amanda goes after her pappy again, the annoyed young woman drops a truth bomb that changes everything for the journalist.
My father is dead. Victor Crowley killed him.
This nugget redefines the entire scenario, and puts an option into play that was heretofore unfeasible. When your only relevance is as a joke, and you're viewed as a failure despite good intentions. Wait, isn't the path to hell paved in good intentions? Anyhow, Amanda has to seize this rare chance. That means Mary Beth needs to be coaxed, coerced, or however else collared into cooperation, if not compliance.
Please, tell me what happened.
How do you get into a pistachio without a crack?
I know I can help you.
You need to improvise a way to break through that hard shell.
Fine. I'll wait.
To bond, they get to gabbing like old girlfriends, and Mary Beth relates the condition of the last guy she picked up for some fun once she was finished with him.
He was shredded to pieces. There was nothing left to possibly get back up again.
Okay, that was a bad joke. What she was describing was Victor Crowley's disposition last she saw him, explaining the events of the night before.
Reverend Zombie thought that by letting Crowley kill the 3 people that were responsible for his death,
The craziness to which she was a party.
somehow the curse would be lifted, and I don't know, he would just go away. It was all bullshit.
Amanda has reasons to be unconvinced a gory death is enough to keep Victor down.
According to my research when I interviewed a voodoo priestess, and she was a real voodoo priestess,
And up against undue skepticism,
I know it sounds crazy, but if anybody should be a believer, I would imagine it would be you.
she explains why.
According to the legend, Victor Crowley is cursed as a repeater.
Under the current circumstances,
Each night, he has to return exactly as he was when he died.
he will remanifest as if out of nothing, his destroyed vessel not even a hindrance.
Over and over again, you can't kill him. He's already dead. It's kind of sad, really.
All that she endured to come out on top, Mary Beth understandably wants to believe otherwise.
I sawed his body into little pieces. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
In her heart and soul, Amanda knows that's wishful thinking.
I don't know. The priestess said no amount of physical damage can keep him from returning again and again in his original form.
But Mary Beth, unwilling to entertain anything contrary to what she wants to believe, remains obstinate.
He's dead.
He's not.
No sooner than it seems Amanda's argument is running out of steam, a call comes over the radio from Honey Island Swamp, and some shit, as in the continuation of the massacre, is going down.
Lou, you there?
I heard it. I got a call to the state. Bring everyone and everything I can bring with me. We should be out
All the proof she needs, she confronts Mary Beth.
in less than 30.
You still think he's dead?
I killed him.
Now it's crunch time.
You did, but I know how. How?
Amanda believes she has the schematic,
To rid the swamp of that curse, we've got to give the ghost what he wants.
But he's searching for his
His father
father.
endlessly, night after night.
for how they can put Victor to rest permanently.
Once he has him, he can finally find peace and pass on.
That is impossible. Thomas Crowley has been dead for years.
None of it makes any logical sense to Mary Beth.
I can explain all of it, but first I need to know that you're going to help me out.
I already told you everything that I know.
Who is the most important component of the operation Amanda wants to undertake?
You are the only living relative of Samson Dunstan.
The grief of being her father's child never seems to end, something to which way too many can relate.
The man who caused all of this, you are the only one who can end it.
Unfortunately, with her pappy dead, it falls to her. A terrible obligation, sort of a blood right, and a particularly dark legacy.
That means you are the only one who can make it stop.
Appealing to the good side of Mary Beth's nature, it is there. She has a simple but pertinent question.
How many more people have to die before this is over?
I can't.
You can.
That's what unwavering conviction looks like. Against staggering odds, she motivates Mary Beth to agree to something 100% diametrically opposed to her best interest.
We're going for a ride.
Oh, hell no.
Not one to let a pesky mountain stand in her way, Amanda has the erosion power it takes nature 1,000,000 years to accomplish.
Elliot, you have to help me. Because if you don't, everybody in that swamp is going to die.
One of those deeply ingrained traits that exemplify her.
You open that door.
Amanda's pushiness, persistence, pays off, and against all his better judgment, Deputy Winslow acquiesces. Amanda directs their route away from the slaughter currently underway, which is met with confusion.
I tell you what, get me to Ozona, and then you can call Lewis and tell him we're on our way. Deal?
They need to make a quick stopover before proceeding to the swamp.
What is in Ozona?
Thomas Crowley.
Well, technically speaking, that's true, but the crusty fella they're actually going to see is the holder of his urn, which brings up an interesting point.
If that's true, then why didn't you just bring him Thomas Crowley's ashes years ago?
Because I can't.
There's always a reason some innocent bystander, only tangentially connected to the ordeal, has to step up to the plate of responsibility.
Only the person responsible for his death can finally deliver what it is he's looking for.
And it's no different for Mary Beth, who inherited a role she never wanted to assume.
I tried to have this conversation with your father 2 years ago, and he pulled a gun on me and told me to go fuck myself.
Just a lovely family.
Go fuck yourself.
Uh-huh. The man they seek is Abbott McMullen, this irascible old coot.
Who is the colored? I didn't do nothing to that little girl. There ain't no crime in looking.
We'll just say he's stuck in his very old, very racist and pervy ways, and leave it at that. Separating him from his uncle's remains will involve some pushback.
That's right. These are your uncle's ashes.
What the hell you doing, you little harlot?
Everyone's crazy, overly religious, conspiracy theory spewing uncle in a nutshell. A part of his beaming personality is a squiggle of nihilism that won't prove hyperbolic.
I am just going to borrow these for a little bit. We're going to bring them right back.
Oh, over my dead body.
Pig-headedness mandatory. Some back and forth makes it apparent he's about as cooperative as a hog getting pulled from the wallow, and Amanda has to go to extreme measures.
I said over my dead body.
Well then, you leave me no choice.
Surely, as one who cherishes life so much, he'll be quick to capitulate now.
Go ahead. Shoot me. Go on, do it. Shoot a defenseless old man. Go on, pull the trigger.
Even though they're cluttered up with a lot of cobwebs and garbage, a real hoarder mind. Probably some lost and forgotten mummified pets, too. The old man's brains don't get blown to kingdom come.
Abbott, I'm sorry, but we are leaving now with this urn. Open the door.
Do it. Shoot me. Go on, do it.
Now on their way to the murder swamp, where, mind you, a massacre has been playing out in real time. Amanda explains how the onus of carrying out her plan is on Mary Beth.
You're Samson's bloodline. You have to be the one to give the ghost what it wants.
The fuck I do.
This might be a message about generational responsibilities that get passed down to undeserving progeny, because this feels very much like Mary Beth is going to the gallows for her pappy's crimes.
The one who caused the ghost's death is the only one who can make it right.
I had nothing to do with this.
The problem is her link makes her the only person capable, if Amanda's right.
But your father did. I'm sorry, but Mary Beth, this is the only way to make it right.
Amanda continues to reason with her.
You waltzed into the police station wearing Victor Crowley's innards. What proof did I have that he was real?
But having had enough face-to-face encounters with Victor Crowley to last a lifetime...
Stop! Turn the fucking car around! You can't! You have to go, Mary Beth!
Nothing will convince her she should be on board with this insane plan.
Only you! Only you! You're the one!
Since this is all a quest to prove she's not public enemy number one, and plenty of laws have already been broken, Mary Beth's say is overridden by Amanda's resolute certainty, and before long they're on the scene.
We really need to call the sheriff and let him know what we're doing.
Elliot, no!
It will soon prove moot, but Amanda doesn't know that yet.
If you do that, he will order you to take me and Mary Beth back.
Yeah,
and then what?
So far, Deputy Winslow, even against his better judgment, has cast his lot with this driven, possibly over-obsessed woman.
I take full responsibility. I'll say I pulled your gun.
Yeah, right.
And it will all be for naught if she can't convince him to go on now.
I'll do whatever it takes, Elliot, because I am not wrong. I am not.
Deputy Winslow can't be dissuaded and learns the extent of the calamity.
He called in the military. He said it was a group of gunmen.
Funny thing is, you could drop a nuke on Victor and it wouldn't matter.
Don't you get it? He did that so he would be sure that they would come. What's he gonna say? Victor Crowley's attacking us? You gotta think about this.
Deputy Winslow is convinced. Amanda tells him all they have to do is get out there.
And then we make sure she puts that monster back in his grave where he belongs.
Things amiss? Nah. Well, maybe a little.
Hey, I see the other boats. Let's pull around.
We don't have time. We're close enough.
Brought back to the place she never wanted to return under any circumstances, Mary Beth is surprisingly collected.
Now listen, you gotta trust me.
But lets it be known she's at the absolute peak of dissatisfaction.
I promise. I won't let anything happen to her.
A little bit of a precursor to the Hawk Tuah girl there. What a time we live in, when a random reference to oral sex can go viral, become a meme, and give someone an entire career. And there are those who say presumed promiscuity isn't a prized trait.
What do you think of loose women?
I like them.
I, for one, have always appreciated any woman so free-spirited.
This will be over soon.
Yeah, it will be.
Neither are psychics, but they're both right on the money.
Victor! Victor, come out!
They've reached the battleground. It seems counterintuitive to summon him, but that is what they're here for.
Come and get your daddy!
Deputy Winslow is maybe Rolodexing the day's events and coming to regret his decisions.
Bullshit. Man, we need to find the others.
There's too late, and there's way too late. And they are way, way too late. It's a mess of limbs and viscera.
Found him.
Heinous.
There you go. Look around.
What a quagmire they've stepped into by coming to this anatomical minefield. Oh, so many limbs.
Victor, come on! Where are you?
Only a matter of time, because they're in his swamp. Her perseverance pays off.
He's here.
Free. This is it. This is Amanda's epic and glorious moment of triumph. Her version of ascending Everest, reaching the floor of the Marianas Trench, locking down a platonic heterosexual male friend, completing the Enduroman triathlon, or going to space, and stands face to face with a ghost of such substance, he tosses aside a head like a soccer ball at the end of practice. With all the bits and pieces about, he's quite the litter bug, and he's not done cluttering up the landscape.
On the floor, now!
Amanda believes wholeheartedly down to the marrow of her bones that Mary Beth reuniting him with his father will restore Victor's mortality, making it possible to stop him for good.
Cover her! Don't let anything happen to her!
Therefore, she doesn't feel bad about pushing a young woman toward what is almost certain death if her very real voodoo priestess was wrong, possibly urging her to step right off a cliff.
Hear me, you do it! Do it! Do it!
With little choice in the matter, Mary Beth faces her fate. and does her best to make amends.
And I'm sorry for what my father did to you.
Things are tense, but the strategy might be working. Uttering this single word evidences Victor's awareness, suggesting a ray of hope might break through even the dense canopy of this tragedy-stricken swamp.
Take it.
Unfortunately, the darkness of this particularly angsty swamp snuffs out all light from above. Victor cares not one iota, confused and annoyed by the ones gate-crashing his party, and the only way he knows how to deal with it is to do what he does best, unsurprisingly choosing violence. Deputy Winslow has an itchy trigger finger. Not understanding no amount of bullets will do the trick. No matter how many are unloaded into him.
Step back there, Beth!
Victor Crowley is certain to rise, even if it requires a full remanifestation.
Honey, I'm sorry.
But when you exist in the workaday world of grounded reality, such supernatural anomalies can't possibly exist.
He's dead.
Victor always seems to take great offense at being declared dead, as if it's a personal insult. Suddenly thrust into about the most vulnerable position possible, Amanda's fast reaction delivers her into the hands of the object of her work, obsession, and public downfall. This is definitely another white whale situation. Also, be careful what you wish for situation. At this point, remorse is probably setting in, but even presented with her doom, Amanda faces the beastly apparition with dignity.
I knew you were real.
Seeking no validation beyond that of ending the life of another interloper.
I came to save you.
Her nobler intentions mean nothing when to him she is just some trespassing lost soul who made the mistake of getting caught. How do you keep your head when all about you others are losing theirs? To that, Amanda has no answer. All the ideas and opinions contained in her noodle mean not a lick once Victor Crowley 86's whatever pasta dishes were on her specials board. One quick to weaponize body parts, Victor is thoroughly pissed off after 3 solid nights of murderous mayhem and wants to put a stamp on it. Surprisingly clear-headed after getting barely any sleep for days, and experiencing enough adrenaline dumps to leave a person catatonic, Mary Beth will prove that Amanda was right all along when she straight up douses Victor in his father's ashes, rendering him mortal, and, after some disintegration, puts the final stamp on it. This exit is extraordinary for a myriad of reasons, from the depth of meaning behind it to the brutal kill itself. But what truly uplifts it and imbues it with that extra oomph that really makes it stand out is a tour de force performance by genre icon Caroline Williams.
We're gonna run through this again.
Striking a careful balance, she brought such gravitas and dimensionality to Amanda, who in a gory slasher film could easily be a one-note character. She emerged as well-rounded, worth caring about, earnest, truthful, and genuine. She also for the most part had a good head on her shoulders. That was until Victor took it off.
Get it together.
Why was she so obsessed with Victor Crowley to begin with? She believes if there is a way to free and stop him, every means should be taken to make it happen.
Yeah, that's right.
She was maybe a victim of the sunk cost fallacy. She went all in on something that torpedoed her professional aspirations and her marriage, yet refused to give it up, like a bad habit that pushes everyone away. Because her reputation was about irreparable without a big change, she dared to stick her neck out, seizing the sudden chance to rehab her image. But there was so much more motivating her. There's honor in leveraging your name for the sake of truth. It's even more of an honor to wager your life to do what's right in the face of intense adversity. Presented with pure nightmare fuel, she maintained her cool, going to her death with a mostly clear conscience, but more importantly, the validation that all the naysayers were the ones who were wrong, because the legend was real all along. In her heart and soul, by her own estimate, she was a good person on a noble mission. But was that objectively true? Deputy Winslow might argue she was nothing but trouble.
You don't know me.
With a dexterity of mind that allowed her to outflank her opposition, there was a sliver of deviousness to her. She hewed to the truth, sure, but she was willing to say anything to get her way, even resort to personal attacks.
And let's not forget your brother Ainsley. How many dozen DUI he got? Oh, and those 3 months community service for defacing a church.
A less charitable reading would suggest she represented busybody women with savior complexes that proved damaging not only to themselves but others, their cause doing more harm than good. But that would only be true if her odyssey to Victor Crowley ended in vain.
Well, I'm sincerely glad to hear that, for all our sakes.
Amanda found out in about the hardest way imaginable that the cost of learning the truth could be way too steep, particularly in an aftermath. But the persuasive lady was committed, willing to break any number of laws, prepared to beg, plead, and manipulate, equal parts angel and demon, a dichotomy ultimately for good, even if some of her means were questionable. Every life spared following Victor's final meltdown is a tally in her favor.
Oh, you saw that? Yeah.
What did being right get her besides her head taken off as a matter of course, like a kid pops off the flower of a dandelion? She got that, the victory of putting Victor Crowley's tortured soul to rest, and saving however many souls in the meantime, before his eventual resurrection. It's unfortunate that her sacrifice was eventually undone by low-budget horror filmmakers. Isn't that just the way?
What?
Kidding, of course. They had no way of knowing.
I don't have time for these shenanigans.
Amanda went against the grain even to her own detriment. Kind of a common trait among those who conflict with the accepted narrative.
Well, not my best career move.
Treating with deference that which the tribe deems malarkey has an indelible power to stir backlash and ostracize, all because she dared to look at the years of unexplained missing persons and conclude the legend was true. Exhaustive research, going so far as to explore the whole supernatural element of it, led her not only to believe, but to find enough sympathy for a misunderstood murder machine to see his ultimate demise not as revenge, but a mercy. A principled stance amid a world of knee-jerk reactions.
Didn't exactly go over well.
To come by such a nuanced worldview, the lady clearly accrued a lot of hash marks from a life that didn't always go the way she wanted. Part of that was enduring the scathing response to her Victor Crowley study, but also, more importantly, the dissolution of her marriage. It's obvious she still cared about Lewis. Even a split that's less than amicable can leave lingering residual feels.
Lewis is out in that swamp. Your best friend, my husband.
You mean your ex-husband, right?
Just drive.
Yet she held some spite for the man too. Maybe because he grew fed up with certain aspects of her character, and instead of pursuing counseling, he went ahead and filed. That she won their dog as part of the divorce settlement is an indicator that she wanted to hurt him deeply, likely retaliatory pain for that which he caused her by giving up on them. Unilateral decisions on Amanda's part might have contributed to the collapse of their union. Lewis maybe advised against sticking her nose where it didn't belong, maybe begged her not to dig in her heels.
Well, I don't want to waste your time.
When she didn't listen, becoming a source of derision, the community laughingstock, he as an agent of the law had to look out for his own best interest by distancing himself. The sheriff's credibility can't be put in question. Having a wife considered a local kook, with the power to give him the bulldozer treatment.
Is that what you're calling it right now?
Probably just didn't fit his conception of a peaceful life, and he knew he had no prayer of getting her to change if it wasn't her prerogative. Maybe two heads can only clash together so many times before the thunderous knocking forces them apart.
Yep.
That stands up to scrutiny.
Amanda may have had a bit of a scathing attitude she had trouble bottling up, but even if her worst instincts sometimes came out at inopportune times, she was wise about people. For instance, her ability to erode wills, even that of a tough cookie like Mary Beth. How is she able to pull off that feat? She probably recognized the lure of unburdening. Mary Beth had a lot to tell, and on some level she wanted a receptive ear, even if she put up a resistant front. Amanda had to earn her trust, and in so doing, got to the savory nut in that uncracked shell, confirmation of the things she had held fast to, while crushed under the labels of grifter, charlatan, and fool. It's like there was a pull to the swamp, magnetism to Victor, and her obsession ultimately delivered her into his clutches. Vocal advocacy, in and of itself, was like putting out a death notice, not only on her rep, but on her physical being. If there's safety in silence, she blew it for herself left, right, and center, by making herself a mouthpiece for something only she wanted to be real.
Look, I know how insane this sounds.
Maybe she hoped her respect for his plight would buy her points, as if Victor could detect her virtue and recognize all the lobbying she had done on his behalf. Amanda maybe needed to be talked down from the ledge of Victor Crowley belief, but to her credit, she was willing to jump if that would convince others. She desired the gratification of belief, but not only for herself. Amanda's motives, even if on some level self-serving, ultimately fell on the side of right, because she was advocating for the tortured soul of a mentally defunct boy who, lest we forget, was also a victim, who lost his life to 3 boys pulling a horrible prank, and his father to time, who, even if his victimhood led to countless unjust deaths, was legally incompetent because he had zero sense of anything other than the impulse to kill. She's another rather poignant example of there being no reward points or even kudos for tenaciously doing the right thing. Fairness is non-existent, and even good people are undone by the charity in their hearts. When confronted by Victor, she was filled with something akin to serenity rather than panic. The realization of her goal, proof it wasn't a fool's errand to pursue the legend, was enough to grant her solace in her final moments. In death, she was at the very least granted a measure of validation, since she was right all along, and for a time at least, due in part to her sacrifice, Victor Crowley's nightly reign of terror was nipped in the bud, and the swamp was safe. Until legendary writer and director George A. Romero, a man who had an intimate knowledge of the undead rising, resurrected the giant galoot with an observation, but that's a tale for another day. What's the final takeaway? No matter how indomitable a spirit seems, it can be cruelly extinguished.
Not another word!
Well, I've about reached the end of the rope, so I won't leave you dangling. Thanks for humoring my ramblings. Please share any refutations, opinions, accusations, japes, or other ideas in the comments below. And please join me for whatever I'm up to next time. Bye now.
Bye, creepy man! Keep it creepy!
He's a weird guy.
Goodbye! You never quite get the smell out of your sinuses.
No further comment.
Not exactly.